All right, and welcome back to the Storm and Mormon. Uh, I'll never stop laughing at that nickname because I did not give it to myself. It was given to me by my friends who are not members of the church, as you might have guessed. So whenever that moniker is announced, just know it'll never stop being funny. Today we're going to cover the Covenant of Abraham, or the Abrahamic Covenant, and we're going to talk. We're going to get a little messy because this chapter 2 is a little. It's a messy one. It's one of those stories where you learn about the virtues of God by, well, how he reveals himself, how he conducts himself, and it's just one of those good stories. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at this. Chapter 2. And now the Lord God caused a famine to wax sore in the land of Ur, insomuch that Haran my brother died. But Terah, my father, yet lived in the land of Ur of the Chaldees. And it came to pass that I, Abraham, took Sarai to wife, and Nahor, my brother, took Milcah, his wife, Milcah to wife, who was the daughter of Haran. His brother married his brother's daughter. Okay. Now the Lord said unto me, Abraham, get thee out of thy country, for they're still kind of shady, and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. You can tell things were not going well in Abraham's household, so he needed to move. Therefore I left the land of Ur of the Chaldees and to go into the land of Canaan. And I took Lot, my brother's son, and his wife, and Sarai, my wife, and also my father followed after me unto the land which we denominated Haran. Why do I get the implication that this is the original source for the phrase Haram? Continuing. And the famine abated, and my father tarried in Haran and dwelt there, as there were many flocks in Haran, and my father turned again unto his idolatry. Therefore he continued in Haran. But I, Abraham, and Lot, my brother's son, prayed unto the Lord, and the Lord appeared unto me, and said unto me, Arise, and take Lot with thee, for I have proposed to take thee away out of Haran, and to make of thee a minister, to bear my name in that strange land, which I will give unto thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession, when they hearken to my voice. For I am the Lord thy God, I dwell in heaven, the earth is my footstool. I stretch my hand over the sea, and it obeys my voice. I cause the wind and the fire to be my chariot. I say to the mountains, Depart hence, and behold, they are taken away by a whirlwind, in an instant, suddenly. My name is Jehovah, and I know the end from the beginning, therefore my hand shall be over thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee above measure, and make thy name great among all nations, and thou shalt be a blessing unto thy seed after thee, that in their hands they shall bear this ministry and priesthood unto all nations. Scrolling down. And I will bless them through thy name, for as many receive this gospel shall be called after thy name, and shall be accounted thy seed, and shall rise up and bless thee as their father. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee, that is, in thy priesthood, and in thy seed, that is, thy priesthood, for I give unto thee a promise that this right shall continue in thee, and in thy seed after thee, that is to say, the literal seed, or the seed of the body, shall all the families of the earth be blessed, even with the blessings of the gospel, which are the blessings of salvation, even of life eternal. Now after the Lord had withdrawn from speaking to me, and withdrawn his faith from me, I said in my heart, Thy servant has sought thee earnestly, now I have found thee. Thou didst send thine angel to deliver me from the gods of Elkanah, and I will do well to hearken unto thy voice, therefore let thy servant rise up and depart in peace. So I, Abraham, departed as the Lord had said unto me, and Lot with me. And I, Abraham, was 62 years old when I departed out of Haran. I'm still calling that Haram, just because. And I took Sarai, whom I took to wife when I was in Ur in Chaldea, and Lot, my brother's son, and all our substance that we had gathered, and the souls we had won in Haran, where apparently they had earned great wealth in Haran as well, and came forth in the way to the land of Canaan, and dwelt in tents as we came on our way. Therefore eternity was our covering, and our rock and our salvation, as we journeyed from Haran by the way of Jershon, to come to the land of Canaan. Now I, Abraham, built an altar in the land of Jershon, and made an offering unto the Lord, and prayed that the famine might be turned away from my father's house, that they might not perish. And then we passed from Jershon to the land to the place of Shechem. It was situated in the plains of Moreh, and we had already come to the borders of the land of the Canaanites, and I offered sacrifice there in the plains of Moreh, and called on the Lord devoutly, because we had already come into the land of this idolatrous nation. And the Lord appeared unto me in answer to my prayers, and said unto me, Unto thy seed I will give this land. And apparently they're on the plains of Moreh, looking over all the land, and the Lord just says, This is yours, everything the light touches. And I, Abraham, arose from the place of the altar which I had built unto the Lord, and removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched my tent there, Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there I built another altar unto the Lord, and called again upon the name of the Lord. So Abraham is traveling about, dotting the land with these precious altars, some of which, by the way, if you go to the local areas around here, these altars are focal points for local tribesmen and herders who revere Abraham still as this great prophet who crossed in ancient times. The same thing happened with Lehi and his family in the Book of Mormon. There are still people in that geographical area near south of Jerusalem in that Arabian Peninsula, where local tribesmen will honor and remember this holy prophet that passed through this area. Lehi had done the same thing that Abraham had done before him. And I, Abraham, journeyed, going still towards the south, and there was a continuation of the famine in the land, and I, Abraham, concluded to go down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine had became very grievous. And it came to pass, when I was come near to enter into Egypt, the Lord said unto me, Behold, Sarai thy wife is a very fair woman to look upon. Now allow me to translate and give that some context. Sarai was a hot babe. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see her, they will say, She is his wife, and they will kill you. But they will save her alive. Therefore see that you do on this wise. Let her say unto the Egyptians, She is thy sister, and thy soul shall live. And it came to pass that I, Abraham, told Sarai, my wife, all that the Lord had said unto me. Therefore say unto them, I pray thee, that thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. I told you this chapter was messy, because a lot of people like to make the argument that the Lord was not technically telling Abraham to lie, because Sarai is technically Abraham's half-sister. Okay. Gentlemen, I'm just letting you know that if you're at a dinner party, you're at a work event, and you and your wife are there, and someone asks you to introduce your wife to them, you're not lying if you say to these to your coworkers, "Oh, this is a very good friend of mine. She's fantastic." You're not lying, but you're in trouble. You're going to have some problems with this because you are lying by omission. You are saying, you're leaving out the most important part. Sarai was his wife. She wasn't just a sister. She wasn't just a really good friend. She's the wife. And people have a problem with this because they're saying, why would the Lord tell Abraham to lie? Can the Lord lie? My humble opinion, the Lord can do what he wants. That's his privilege. Now, you trust that when it comes to the most important things, that the Lord would, of course, be completely up on the up and up and noble and all those things. But the Lord is an individual, and he does what he wants. And he can tell you to do whatever he wants. And in this circumstance, he told Abraham, dude, you got a fib on this one. You better not tell them that she is your wife, or else you gonna die. So yes, lying is on the table for the Lord. I don't think he enjoys it. I don't think he likes it. But if you think that the Lord is going to be the ultimate autistic and decide, hey, we need to tell the truth at all times because that's the right thing to do in and of itself. No. Wish I could tell you different, but I can't. The Lord clearly has a far more pragmatic approach to humanity, as it turns out. So we're not going to go into this chapter 3 of Abraham, but essentially, the story turns out that Pharaoh, because Sarah lied about her marriage to Abraham, was taken to Pharaoh. And what happened is that the Lord chastised Pharaoh and said, "Why have you taken my servant's wife?" He gave him night terrors. He cursed his household. He didn't do 10 plagues. He did like 1 plague. And Pharaoh's like, "Oh, Abraham, why didn't you tell me she was your wife?" And Abraham was just giving him side eye like, "We both know why I didn't tell you she was my wife, you jerk." And so we learn that Abraham had a far larger role in Egypt. He was not the learner, he was the teacher from the Lord to the Egyptians about well digging and astrology and astronomy and a host of other mathematical equations, science. Father Abraham was a wise figure who was given knowledge through the covenant, through the patriarchal line, through the connection that man has to God from all the way going back to the garden. That includes the knowledge to build ships. It includes the knowledge to know all of the herbs and all of the animals, all of the worldly knowledge that makes this world turn and function was given from Abraham to the Egyptians, which is why they were at that time very privileged, very advantageous. They had a lot of wealth and power because they had this connection, both bloodline and not just bloodline, but not just ethical, not just blood, but there was a religious connection and there was a technological connection from Egypt to the Lord. And that's where we're going to leave off this series on Abraham chapter 2. This has been part 2, and I hope that you enjoyed it. God bless.